Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our City Council meeting, May 7th, 2018, and I will call the meeting to order. First order of business would be to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Sean, would you call roll, please?
Deputy Mayor Baggett.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Excused.
Councilmember DeCoursey.
Here.
Councilmember Holman.
Here.
Councilmember Pelosa.
Present.
Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Here.
Councilmember Wells.
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Backus is in Washington, D.C., along with our other colleague, Councilmember Brown. So we're going to carry on here. And the first order of business is we have some proclamations, and as Nancy usually does, I will come down to the podium and read the proclamation. The first proclamation will be for Affordable Housing Week, and I would like to welcome Joseph, Danielle, and Shelley to come up to the podium. There's going to be a lot of whereases here because we've got 3 of these puppies. So we'll start off with the proclamation here for the affordable housing. And whereas the issues of affordable housing and homelessness have hit a crisis point in our communities, and whereas across King County, 127,000 households are paying more than half their income for housing costs, and 5,485 individuals were found sleeping outdoors during the last 2017 point-in-time count. These challenges are touching every corner, every city, every school district of our county. During the 2015-2016 school year, 8,107 students across King County were identified as homeless, an 11% increase over the previous year. And whereas we know we must do more to address these needs by increasing attention to this issue and by working together across communities and across sectors, we can turn the tide to ensure all people have access to a safe, healthy, affordable home. And whereas the Association of Washington Cities determined that human services, homelessness, and affordable housing were critical priorities for the legislative session and united in an effort to raise public awareness. And communities throughout King County are participating in local Affordable Housing Week efforts to inform the public of the critical need to preserve and or increase affordable housing in our communities. And whereas the City of Auburn endorses the goals, objectives, and purposes of Affordable Housing Week, in doing so, recommits itself to ensuring that our community thrives with opportunity and that all people live with dignity and in safe, healthy, and affordable homes. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim the week of May 14th to 18th, 2018 as Affordable Housing Week in the City of Auburn, and urge all citizens to recognize organizations and explore resources to achieve and maintain affordable and responsible housing. Dated this 7th day of May, 2018. And I will present this to Joseph.
Yes.
And would you like to say a few words?
Yes, sir. Thank you for proclaiming next week as Affordable Housing Week. My name is Joseph Mayo. I'm a retired submarine sailor and a disabled vet. here to represent Habitat for Humanity. I moved to the Northwest because the VA Puget Sound healthcare system is one of the top VAs in the country. When I first moved here, I got an apartment in Renton with a reasonable rent. As the years passed, the rent skyrocketed, so much so that I would have been homeless this very month. If that reality had come to pass, I would have had to leave the area and not get the health care I needed. If it weren't for the help of Habitat for Humanity and the King County Veterans Program, I would have not gotten my home at an affordable rate. The goals of Affordable Housing Week are not only to call attention to the level of need, but also highlight the policy solutions and the important work being done by organizations such as Habitat for Humanity that, especially in my case, make a difference. We hope that you will attend some of the events planned for next week and continue to support affordable housing in the future because it will benefit us all. Thank you for the proclamation on behalf of Habitat for Humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. Danielle, did you want to speak? Shelley?
I will for a second.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor and council members, thank you so much for this proclamation. My name is Shelley Preco, and I'm the new Executive Director for Nexus Youth and Families. I've been in my role since January, but I did come via the board, so I understand the great collaboration that the City of Auburn has had with Nexus Youth and Families, and we're very grateful for that work together. You know, we are well aware of the work that Mayor Backus has been doing with One Table. We've been working along with her and know that you all understand the impact that the lack of affordable housing has had on our community and our greater county area. As your proclamation states, there are just too many families that are struggling, that are either without homes or are near homeless. At Nexus, we deal with these issues on a daily basis, from working with families to prevent homelessness, supplementing rents and other costs when needed, to providing temporary housing to help young adults begin their journey to independence. We at Nexus continue to be your partner to address this very important work. I would love to invite each of you down to our campus to meet with our case managers and see firsthand the work that they're doing along with all of you to combat homelessness and provide affordable housing in our area. So thank you again for taking the time to issue this proclamation and for your dedication for the need. Thank you.
If you would like to accept the appreciation and thanks of our City Council.
I would absolutely.
Thank you. Go.
We're just talking about our service in the U.S. Navy.
Number 2, proclamation of 3. Some more whereases. Bob Lee, would you like to come forward? Our Chief of Police. Short timer. Whereas the Congress and the President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week, and whereas the members of the Auburn Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Auburn, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their police officers, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the men and women of law enforcement unceasingly provide a vital public service and place their lives before the citizens, witnessed too many times in 2017. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Nancy Backus, call upon all citizens of Auburn and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 13th through 19th as Police Week, to join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who, by their faithful and loyal dedication or devotion to their responsibilities, have rendered a dedicated service to their communities and for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. I further call upon all citizens of Auburn to observe May 15, 2018 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and lower flags to half-staff as directed under presidential order in honor of the law enforcement personnel who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes, and lower flags to half-staff as directed under presidential order, dated this 7th day of May, 2018.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Would you like to stay over here?
Sure. Just speaking on behalf of all the members, men and women of the Auburn Police Department, we truly appreciate the support that Mayor, Council, and especially the citizens of Auburn support law enforcement. Next week, it's a chance for us to remember 131 officers, law enforcement officials that passed away last year due to interactions with people. And so far this year, we're at 51. And our goal is always to lower that number, but unfortunately, that's somewhat of the hazards of the job. But anytime those things happen, whether it's close to home in Washington or in the United States, there is always an outpouring of sympathy and respect that flows into our police department, just like many others in the area, and we really do appreciate the community supporting us. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Please accept the thanks and appreciation of your council. Our next proclamation involves our public works. Ingrid, would you like to step forward? Ingrid is our Assistant Director of Engineering Services and the City Engineer. And we'll begin with what else? Whereas public works, infrastructure, facilities, and services are of vital importance to sustainable communities and to the public health, safety, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Auburn. And whereas services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as transportation, water, sewers, and storm drainage. And whereas public works facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts and skills of the public works professionals, engineers, planners, managers, technicians, administrative and maintenance employees from the City of Auburn and the private sector who plan, design, build, permit, operate, and maintain this infrastructure and facilities essential to serve our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for citizens, civic leaders of Auburn to gain knowledge of, maintain a progressive interest in, and understand the importance of public works and public works programs in their community. And whereas the American Public Works Association has celebrated the annual National Public Works Week since 1960. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim the week of May 20th through 26th, 2018 as National Public Works Week in the City of Auburn, and I call upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions which public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Dated the 7th day of May, May 2018. Ingrid, would you like to say a few words?
I would. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, council members. Randy and I are both very, very proud of the staff that we have that serve our community and appreciate that the city takes this opportunity to recognize all that they do to make our lives and our community a better place. Their hard work and dedication can easily go unnoticed, so I'd like to take just 1 minute to go over a few things that they actually did in 2017. So in engineering, we completed 25 capital projects totaling $31 million, which completed 30 lane miles of new pavement, over 6,500 feet of water mains, 10,300 feet of storm lines, 5,700 feet of sewer lines, and over 20,000 feet of new or replaced sidewalks. We completed 433 inspections on private storm systems and 303 inspections on our city public storm systems for compliance with our regulatory requirements. We issued 380 permits for work within the right-of-way and completed nearly 1,200 inspections for private development and managed 76 private development projects that were completing public improvements in the right-of-way for the city. In maintenance and operations, they handled 3,686 requests for service. So those are requests that can come from the public, from citizens, from businesses, from council members, from other city staff, from anywhere. And they processed 21,729 tasks by all of their crews. That's averaging about 87 tasks a day that they completed. A task can range from anywhere from 1 person for 30 minutes or a crew of 6 people for a week. So that's a significant amount of work that they've accomplished. As part of the week, as part of the week celebrating Public Works, Maintenance and Operations staff will be hosting an open house and tours on Friday, May 18th and on Saturday, May 19th. We encourage anyone who's interested to come down to 1305 C Street Southwest and take a tour to learn more about how our crews maintain the city. Finally, the staff work very hard to serve our citizens, residents, and business owners. It requires the combined efforts of our engineers, specialists, planners, technicians, maintenance workers, and support staff to successfully manage, plan for, operate, and maintain all of our water, sewer, storm, and transportation systems. So if you get a chance, I highly encourage that you thank them for all that they do. Thank you.
Randy, did you want to say a little bit? Please accept the appreciation and thanks of your city council. Did you notice she didn't put in one whereas? Thank you.
Great piece of artwork. I like that.
Okay, moving on to appointments. We do have a correction to the agenda due to a scrivener's error on the appointment of David Menke to the Civil Service Commission. The civil service appointments are 6-year terms, and the expiration should therefore be December 31st, 2023. With that, I would ask a Civil Service Commission, the City Council, to confirm the following appointments to the Civil Service Committee. Do I hear a motion? Councilmember Holman.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Baggett. I move for the confirmation of the appointment to the Civil Service Commission, Mr. David Menke.
Do I hear a second? Councilmember Pelosi.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Councilmember Holman.
Mr. Menke lives up in Lakeland Hills in the Pierce County part of Auburn. He is the Director of Public Safety and Emergency Management for Highline Community College. He has an extensive background in both law enforcement and the military, and he's passed a background examination.
Thank you.
Just thought I'd add that.
Councilmember Pelosi.
I will also add that David is a proud member of the Auburn VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Passed. Welcome, David. B, we have the BIA Committee, Business Improvement Area, City Council to confirm the following reappointments to the BIA Committee: Ruth Neal Stover and Bob Klontz. Do I hear a motion? Councilmember Holman.
Yes, I move for the confirmation of Ruth Neal Stover and Bob Klontz to the Business Improvement Area.
Do I hear a second? Councilmember Klontz.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Thank you. Agenda modifications. This is, we normally have agenda modifications or citizen input, public hearings and correspondence. We have no public hearings tonight. There is no correspondence, but this is the place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to the City Council.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes.
So there was an updated Resolution 5366 provided to council prior to the meeting.
Well, that's where you want me to talk about that. Okay. Yeah, we do have a change. We have a modification to the Resolution 5366, which is a resolution of the City Council on the City of Auburn, Washington, ratifying the cancellation of the request for bids authorized by Resolution 5210 and expressing the city's intent to extend the term of all solid waste collection contracts and seek a new contract through a request for proposal process. So that will be the change to the yes, Councilmember Pelosi.
A further change is in the description. I'm out of order.
It'll be later on.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just for identification of what's changed.
Thank you for guiding me, City Attorney.
Okay. This is the place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to the City Council on any issue. Those wishing to speak are reminded to sign in on the form provided, and you are limited to 3 minutes. So for those that are wanting to speak.
I apologize, I was late, so.
You step to the podium if you would, and state your name and address.
Hi, for the record, I'm Laura Moser. I work for Waste Management, located at 701 2nd Street Northwest here in Auburn. I work here along with 95 other Waste Management employees who are proud to share the Auburn address. I've heard the mayor, council members, and staff say they want 3 things in a solid waste contract: transparency, competitive pricing, and a unified city. 2 short years ago, the city did go out to bid to seek transparency, new services, and the lowest rates possible for the residents. We sharpened our pencils and submitted a bid, and we accepted a draft contract staff prepared. Someone recently asked, why did the bid expire? And normally bids expire 180 days after submitted. You know me, and you know the company I work for. We've been here for 20+ years, and our relationships go far back, and our partnership is solid and sincere. We accepted the contract you offered, and with some tweaking due to China's sword, we would still be eager to consider that contract with you. Perhaps staff expressed worry about the negotiation process since they have not done that before. Yet all negotiations require both sides to act in good faith and to not operate outside the process. We are happy to join with city staff team to do that. You have my word. Frankly, we are at a disadvantage in negotiations. You know our lowest price, and you know it's a significant increase over what you are currently paying. And it won't be any less in 2021. Why not explore a negotiation and see how it feels? You can always go out to RFP later. That is what the City of Newcastle is doing with Waste Management right now. Negotiation could be a path to all your goals: transparency, new services, and a united city at the lowest rate available. I feel like this is my city too, and that the City of Auburn staff, council members, and chamber are my partners. I truly value my working relationship with Shelley, Brenda, and Joan. They work hard for the residents of Auburn, and together we have done outstanding work from winter storm cleanups, bulky collections, enclosure maintenance monitoring, to working together on homeless issues and residential cart placement. They are smart, practical, and extremely supportive. We have strived to make their lives easier. Council, we can work together on a fair price, great service, a good contract, and a unified Auburn served by an Auburn-based company. Give us a few months of good faith negotiations and we can get there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak? Yes. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Rachel Hahn, 31835 118th Place Southeast in Auburn. And I have handouts with a map that kind of goes over the information I would like to, can I speak to you? Okay. Good evening. As I said, my name is Rachel Hahn, and I'm the president of the Lee Hill Village Homeowners Association. We're a neighborhood of 186 homes, and we were built in the late 1960s and 1970s. We are directly across the street from the Green River College, and we consist of both private and city roads. The HOA board has been trying to find a solution for many years with a traffic issue that we're having with the college. I myself started in 2016 on the issue and have gotten some possible solutions from different departments within the city, but have yet to see any results. I will speak briefly on the issues, but I've also handed out the packet with the maps and pictures of some of the issues that we face Monday through Friday, just for reference. We would also like to invite the council to drive through our neighborhood on a weekend and then come back in midweek during the day to see the full experience of what we are dealing with. The college traffic greatly impacts our neighborhood as our entrance along 320th is across from their entrance. Their steady flow of traffic makes it impossible during the week to make a left-hand turn to travel east on 320th. Residents who travel up 320th eastbound to enter our homeowners association onto 120th Place Southeast have a turn lane, but they have to play chicken with oncoming traffic going into the college. The other issue is with our roads that go through our neighborhood. We have a posted speed limit sign of 25 miles an hour, but our residents really feel that that is too high. We have various widths of roads and many blind corners. On top of the roads, we are filled with vehicles from the college students throughout the week. They block sight lines of oncoming traffic, making already narrow roads even smaller, block accesses to mailboxes and driveways. To see beyond the vehicles, cars ease out, but almost go into oncoming traffic as they can't see around. And it is creating an issue with our many children and pedestrians that walk throughout our neighborhood, as well as issues for emergency vehicles trying to find their destination. We have recommendations from Parking Enforcement, Valley Regional Fire Authority, and Joe Welsh in Transportation Planning, but we're stuck in the process and we need help to move forward on the issue. We would like to ask the council to research this on our behalf and help us find a solution that we can get implemented in a timely manner so that our residents can feel safe in their neighborhood again. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, I'm Val Erickson, and I live at 535 M Street Northeast. I've lived there for 30 years, about, somewhere around there. And I wanted to talk to the council about the property next to mine. I call it the Old Shaughnessy House. It's 601 M Street. And I couldn't believe when I saw on Zillow that, oh no, I saw the sign, and then I went on Zillow, that it was going for about $500,000. And so I thought, well, now the city's going to pick that up. But I hear now that you guys didn't buy it. And on Redfin, it says it's pending feasibility. And so I was surprised you all didn't, the city didn't buy it, because I know the last time it was sold, you were interested in it. Now, it may not be possible now, but I was thinking, if possible, would the city consider purchasing it in order to save the historic trees and restore the historic house. I know something about the history of that house because I knew Helen Shaughnessy when she lived there. And she remembers the city, she remembers when the house was outside of city limits. M Street was a dirt road, and after floods they would see pigs, dead pigs in the trees that had drowned during the flood. So the flood must have been pretty high back then. But the house could be used as a museum and an event center like Mary Olson Farm. And I know that the city likes to preserve Auburn history. The farm, the theater, Neely Mansion, which I know is maintained not by the city. Also, a small playground could be put on so that the east field, ball field, would have a playground there. Just a thought. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if you would consider purchasing that land, if still possible. It's pending now, so I don't know what the actual state is. And I signed a petition, and Virginia is going to talk about that petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak? Virginia?
Virginia Haugen, 2503 R Street Southeast. First, we have a Boy Scout out here. His name is Matthew. He's here to observe. I tried to get him to come up and introduce himself, but he is very shy. But he's right back there, and he's only 11 years old. When he's 15, he will introduce himself. Okay, I'm here to talk about 601 M Street Northeast. Some call it the Shaughnessy Place, and some of us call it the Haugen Place. I simply call it 601. The city tried to buy 601 twice. King County has even indicated that it is historically significant to Auburn. With our petition, and I believe you have some copies of the petition up there. We tried for 200. I think we only got 182, and I got one of those today. So, with our petition and 181 signatures, I would say that a lot of people agree with King County that it is a historically significant property. Mostly, I care about the trees. I visited many historic homes throughout the United States, some on the way up and some on the way down. Some are beautifully restored. Though 601 is not terribly old, it is by far the best candidate for restoration that I have yet seen. Structurally speaking, it's in extremely good condition. Without a lot of fancy trim common in some old homes, it will not be an expensive restoration project. 601 stands on a beautiful lot with old trees that are quite significant. Add to that its location at the east side of Fulmer Park. Generations of young people have played ball at Fulmer Field. For that reason, many of us believe, more people than have even signed the petition believe that this city council should be happy to save 601 M Street Northeast for our future and for our history. If the city of Auburn can allow a community theater to lose more than $250,000 a year of our public funds each year, surely we can spend $500,000 to save a beautiful piece of land that will enhance Fulmer Park and the north end of the city. I'd like to thank Jim Montgomery for never failing to love and support the young people of Auburn, who never forget where they were born and raised. I'd like to thank all of the people who signed our petitions, all of the people who listened carefully to the story that we told. I'd like to thank Greg Haugen for inspiring us to never give up the fight to make Auburn a better place to live, but we should all never forget where we live. Not Seattle, but Auburn, Washington. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Barry Carr, and address is 701 2nd Street Northwest, which is the address for Waste Management where I work. My name is Barry Carr, and I'm your Waste Management garbage driver, and have been a driver for nearly 20 years. I grew up in Auburn, and I currently live on the West Hill with my wife and children. I love my job, and I love this company. I work hard, and I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. And I like servicing the special places in our town. My dad was a machinist at Boeing in Auburn, and I'm a Teamster, just like he was. He and my mom taught me the value of a hard day's work. From growing up and living in Auburn, I know Auburn. A couple of years ago, the route I serviced was actually my old neighborhood. If you want to see me outside of work sometimes, try stopping by Sunbreak Cafe or Auburn Dance Academy, where I will take my daughter once in a while to her dancing. Waste management is not just located here. Waste management is Auburn. Like Laura said, first consider having a conversation with us about a new contract before you go out to RFB. It makes good sense.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Anyone else that would like to speak? Final time. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Thank you. That'll close the citizen input for this portion of the meeting. We now have our council ad hoc committee reports. The council ad hoc committee chairs may report on the status of their ad hoc council committee's progress on assigned tasks and may give their recommendation to the city council, if any. I believe we have two, and the first one is our roads projects, and that would be Council Member Claude DeCourcy.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We will be meeting our Road Projects Committee on May 14th. We originally scheduled a meeting on April 17th, but due to scheduling conflicts, we had to postpone that one. So May 14th here at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next ad hoc committee is our Finance Committee, and I'll turn that over to Councilmember Holman.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Finance ad hoc committee reviewed the claims vouchers. They reviewed 277 claims vouchers from voucher report dated May 7th for a total amount of $2,580,000. In addition, there were 6 wire transfers in the amount of $702,650. All these claims appeared to be in good order and reasonable. Reviewed the payroll vouchers from April 12th through May 2nd, and there were 15 checks, 548 direct deposits, and associated electronic funds transfers for things like tax, retirement, insurance, etc., totaling $2,409,109. And the Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, and all matters listed on the consent agenda are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Do I hear a motion? Councilmember Pelosi.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I move the approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do we hear a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll second that, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. All right.
You want me to speak to that? You want me to speak?
Yes, if you would. Councilmember Pelosi.
This period covers November 6th, 2017 Special City Council meeting minutes, minutes of the April 16th, 2018 regular council meeting, and the vouchers that Councilmember Holman spoke to. In addition, there's Public Works Project number Charlie Parker 1521. And it's dealing with the 15th Street Northeast and Northwest preservation. It'll come off of Highway 167 and it'll go into Harvey Road. So it'll be a fine addition to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda?
We already have.
You already have it. Never mind. Back up. All in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Thank you. Okay. Is there any unfinished business, Sean, at all? No, Your Honor. New business? Okay. Mr. City Attorney, I think we're about ready to start on the ordinances.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ordinance number 6681, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, amending Chapter 2.08 of the Auburn City Code relating to the Independent Salary Commission.
Do I hear a motion? Councilmember Holman.
I move for the adoption of ordinance number 6681.
Do we have a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
This matter deals with, it relates to the Independent Salary Commission. Right now, the Independent Salary Commission covers and sets the salary for the 7 council members, and this ordinance will include the mayor's salary into being reviewed by the Independent Salary Commission.
Thank you. Councilmember Pelosi.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'd just like to add, about 4 years ago, we were on a different payment system for the council. And basically what it did, you had to be reelected to obtain any raise that you may have. So therefore, an incoming council member with no experience at all would be making more money than an incumbent city council member. Myself, I sponsored this change, and I thought that that was an injustice to those that have served for years and years and years. So the previous council bought the idea that it was fair and equitable to go to the new system, and that's what we have today. It's even rather more improved since the mayor has been included into the mix. Thank you.
Councilmember Wales.
Thank you. I will not be voting in favor of this. I have a difficult time with a committee of 5 people appointed by the mayor making a decision annually on her salary increase. I don't feel that it's very equitable. And so I will not be supporting this. It just doesn't have the appearance of fairness. Thank you.
As a point to reply to that, I also want to make it known that the City Council approved those appointments as well. It wasn't just the mayor's call. Any other discussion on that? Yes, Councilmember Wales.
This is my second comment since there is a motion. Trying to get all this down. Okay. If you look at the history of the appointments that we've done over the 6 years that I've been involved in the council, we have not overturned one committee appointment, with the exception of one which we brought to the attention of the mayor because it was an employee trying to get involved in a committee that in an area where they worked. So I don't feel that just because we rubber stamp it, that's going to ensure that the 5 people who are going to make this decision are going to do it even-handedly. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of this ordinance, please acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Thank you.
So,
Passes.
So, can you give us what is the count?
There was one
4-1.
vote, no vote, and all other votes are counted with the prevailing side.
So we got 4-1?
You have 5-1.
5-1, okay, 5-1. Thank you.
Passes.
The next item is Resolution Number 5366, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, ratifying the cancellation of a request for bids authorized by Resolution 5210 and expressing the city's intent to extend the term of solid waste contracts and seek a new contract through a request for proposals process.
Thank you. Do we hear a motion? Councilmember Pelosi.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I move for the adoption of Resolution 5366. City Attorney, do I make my amendment to?
Amendment would come separate. This is, the resolution as is set in the agenda would be the way it starts.
Okay, okay, thank you.
The second, Councilmember Trout-Manuel.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes, this resolution has been discussed within the City Council for quite a while, and within the Waste Management Utilities Department. Not Waste Management Utilities Department, the City of Auburn Utility Department. And what this is going to do is it's going to provide the necessary process to have the haulers submit an RFP in the future so that the whole city can be then looked upon, request for proposal, looking at all the bids, because we've been trying now for about 14, 15 years to have the City of Auburn under one hauler. Right now, we have several haulers doing the city. And some of the pricing is one way, some of the can sizes, container sizes are one way, et cetera. So this will bring it and make it consistent with other city governments' way of handling waste within the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, do we vote on this?
If there's no further discussion, then we.
Okay, Councilmember Wales.
I'm not going to be supporting this.
Mike, please.
Oh, Mike again. You know, I have a hard time with this thing, you know. I'm not going to be supporting this because we have an agency or a company that has been dealing with this for over 10 years. I hope it's 10 years, in very good faith. Over the 6 years I've been on the council, every time I've called them because of a citizen's concern, they get it done before I even get the return call. They have 90 some odd employees, many of whom live in this community. In addition, it's kind of almost a local business. They do many of their other type related services that maintains their company within our community, and they're asking for a little bit more time to negotiate. We can still go on later on and get a full proposal, but they are asking for a little bit more time to negotiate after they've shown some of their bottom line positions. And I think that we should respect that request based on the quality of service that we have gotten in the past. We've had citizens come to us over the years that have been concerned about 25 square foot corners and the rush of other businesses to try to do closure, and they've asked for time. We have an outstanding business now that's saying, can you just continue the negotiations a little bit longer? They're not saying we never want to participate in this, but they want us to come to the table and look at and negotiate. So I will not be supporting this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other items for discussion about this item in particular? Okay, all those in favor of Resolution 5366, please acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
That's 3-2. 4-2. 4-2.
I keep forgetting.
Passes.
The next matter is resolution number 5.
Are we going to come back to this?
No, you would make an amendment
Okay,
before it was voted upon. I didn't know.
I want to make an amendment. That's why. Let me just tell you what I want to do.
Okay.
And maybe you, as city attorney, will find a way to do it.
As a Scribner's error, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. There is a, thank you, John. There is a Scribner's error on Resolution 5366. And I would like to point that out to you. In the description, in the last two sentences, or the last two lines, it currently reads, new contract through a request for proposal process. I would, to even clarify this more, I would like to insert the acronym after the word proposal, parens, RFP, end of parens. Just to clarify, you know, that we're not talking about an RFB as in boy, we're talking about an RFP as in Pelosa.
Can we make that?
I think we would be entitled to make that change under the Scribner's error concepts.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Moving on. I'm sorry, Councilmember Wales.
Now, on this motion, I've only spoken once, so this is my second comment. I believe at the study session. Oh, the mic again. I believe at the last study session, Bill did bring that up, that he wanted that put in there, so I think that was the original intent.
Thank you.
Moving on, the next item is Resolution 5367, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Auburn, Washington, amending the City Council Rules of Procedure as adopted by ordinance number 5802 and amended by resolution numbers 4282, 4429, 4467, 4615, 4686, 4740, 4813, 4909, 5105, 5112, 5115, 5217, 5240, and 5238. 83.
Thank you. Take a breath. Okay. I guess I can make a motion to move that for this approval of Resolution 5367. Do I hear a second? Councilmember Holman.
Second.
Thank you. We have discussed this at length at our last study session and answered a number of questions. There are a number of corrections to the rules of procedure, the council rules of procedure. And as you heard, it has an effect and amends several resolution numbers to move ahead with these, which I believe should improve the operation of the council procedures. Councilmember Holman.
These are primarily changes to our rules of procedures that were made by the gracious review of our procedures by Ann McFarland, the director of Jurassic Parliament, that came and gave us some instructions. And so it brings our rules and procedures, clarifies them, and makes them actually easier to follow and procedurally more correct.
Thank you. Councilmember Pelosi.
One particular change which I really liked that she recommended for this city council, and that is put away your cell phones. I mean, that, it really has improved things, I think. And, I mean, all of us go to regional meetings, and what really, really angst me totally is when you've got people in these meetings going through it, got their cell phones going away. What are they hearing? They're hearing nothing. So that is very disrespectful, and this really brings in line the respect that we have for each other by voting on this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Yeah, Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I have to agree with Mr. Pelosi, because there's been times that you folks are here to hear us talk, and also you're paying attention to everything, and then we have members over here, just going away texting, or they've got people from the audience texting them. So this way, we're all paying attention to what you're saying, and you're paying attention to us too. So that really made a big change. And Mr. Pelosi would even dig at me whenever I would bring my phone out, but I was bringing it out to turn it off. And he goes, put it away. So I did. So anyway, now I don't have it here, so thank you.
If you believe that, you believe everything.
I don't. Where's the
An honest woman. Yes, ma'am.
Nothing.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Passes. Thank you. Okay. We've reached the part of our program here where the mayor and the council members reports, and at this time the mayor and the city council may report on significant items associated with their appointed positions on federal, state, regional, and local organizations. And from the council, let's see, I'm not sure where we started the last meeting, but we'll start with Council Member Claude DeCourcy.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And it's actually nice to see everybody still here tonight, so it's really, really great to see a crowd in the audience here and the full council chambers. You know, since we've celebrated the Affordable Housing Week, I'm a member of the Governor's Affordable Housing Advisory Board, a group of 22 members from across the state with a cross-section of disciplines from profit housing, nonprofit housing, the banking sector, the homelessness sector, just a combination of everybody, and it's actually assisted by staff from the Department of Commerce. And we actually meet next week for our May meeting, and then we actually have a special meeting coming up in June. Each year, the Affordable Housing Advisory Board issues a housing update. The 2017 Affordable Housing Update was issued in February of this year. And I just want to go through a few things related to this report. And actually, you can find this report on the Department of Commerce website under Affordable Housing Advisory Board. So the current state of affordable housing needs, and you heard some of this tonight from the folks that spoke. Housing supply and affordability issues affect every community in Washington state. As our state has increased in population and our housing vacancy rates are very low, we have a very tight housing market, and the inventory at this point in time for both rental units and for sale units is extremely low, and everything is priced at a premium. You'll hear a number of people say that homes are being sold, and I was offered a lot more than what I asked for the housing price. And we see our rents increasing dramatically because of that as well. And of course, the low and middle income households feel this market pressure more than anyone. And they have the fewest housing options available in the private market. And they're also, as low income households, with rents increasing, become more vulnerable to the potential homelessness issue. So rents have increased 18% between the years 2006 and 2016. And the median income for that period of time for the entire population has only increased 3%, while the median income for low-income households has not changed at all. Currently, there's over 234,000 households that are considered to be severely cost burdened. Those are folks that pay more than 50% of their adjusted median income for rent, which means they have to make other choices when they're paying that much for rent. So maybe they don't buy medicine, they don't buy all their food, they don't buy whatever else they need because the disposable income is not there. By the year 2019, it's projected to be a total of 780,000 households that'll be earning less than 50% of the area median income, with only 442,000 units of affordable housing to that income level. So a shortfall of almost 340,000 housing units. And the cost burdensome that we see in this state is not just in Western Washington, it is all across the state. Affordable Housing Advisory Board made a number of recommendations. We had some success in the legislature last year that will help the process out. One was to provide more dollars into the Housing Trust Fund for preservation of affordable housing, which is not a whole lot of money right now, but it's $10 million, which helps maintain existing affordable housing rather than that housing being just demolished or just falling into bad repair. So this is a continued issue that we're experiencing, and it's not just here in Washington, it's all across the state. But affordable housing is going to be an issue that is going to be on the forefront for many years to come, with not a whole lot of opportunities to really address the issue significantly. But there's a number of groups out there, including the Affordable Housing Advisory Board and others, that are attacking this problem on a daily basis. And I've said it here in council before as part of our study sessions and looking at affordability, and what the mayor said is attainability, of trying to make sure we have adequate housing and attainable housing for all income levels in the state of Auburn, and we'll keep pushing for that in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Holman.
No report.
Councilmember Pelosa.
I happen to have a very juicy report, and that is I'm a member of the Water Resource Inventory Area number 9, which is the Green River watershed that goes all the way above Howard Hanson Dam, and it flows down into the Duwamish. There has been a huge decline in Chinook salmon production, and we're trying to find out why. So we had a meeting last week with NOAA, and to find out their science in dealing with the lack of Chinook salmon in the Green River and other tributaries that feed into the Green River. We've come up with what we think is a way to improve things by getting the tribes more engaged into this process. Right now, the hatcheries, we have hatcheries along the rivers, and the natural salmon can't get up, as an example, above Howard Hanson Dam. So Tacoma Waterworks, they have a collection area down below the dam, and they put them in trucks and truck them up and dump them in, and then they go along their way up the watershed. Well, there's another interesting problem. Howard Hanson Dam does not have a fish, what we call a fish ladder, where fish can go up the ladder and then continue up. We don't have that. It's millions of dollars. So we've been trying to work with the state wildlife, Fish and Wildlife, to come up with some dollars so that the salmon, when they're brought up, or even a ladder, if there was a ladder like at the locks in Ballard, as an example, they have ladders that the fish can come in and go into Lake Washington and Lake Union and all that. So we're going to continue to get a solution. Is it better to have hatcheries, or is it better to improve habitat for the little fish so they can get the right proper feeding as they grow up? So that's going to continue, but I think by getting NOAA together and the federal government involved, getting the tribes involved to see how we can improve salmon habitat, especially for Chinook, we'll all be better off. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel.
No report.
Councilmember Wales.
I remember to turn on my microphone when I have no report. Thank you.
Okay, well, being the last and final here, I attended a couple of meetings here. We had the Pierce County Cities and Towns Association on May 3rd, and this was the second meeting this year of this association, who basically provides input to this Pierce County Council and the PCRC, which is the Pierce County Regional Council, of which I believe Councilmember Brown is now going to be a member of that. We discussed the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department operation that they are having right now, and their big push right now is on hepatitis C, and there's a few misconceptions about this disease, which is something that needs to be the public needs to be aware of, not only in Pierce County but also in King County, about how it can be spread among our populace. Number one, it doesn't spread through breastfeeding, sharing eating utensils, kissing, hugging, and holding hands with your significant other, insect bites, or coughing or sneezing. A lot of people believe that some of those items were how this is spread. How it's spread is primarily used or shared needles, syringes, or lancets, which we do have a problem out there with some of our homeless folks through sex. Shared care items like toothbrushes or razors, born to a mom with hepatitis C, or medical mishaps like needle injuries or unsterile instruments. So keep that in mind, and our health department, along with the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, have put out several documentation, pieces of documentation to make the public aware of a lot of this. I became the elected member of the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department alternate to their meetings. So that's going to be on the first and third Wednesdays of every month. Our program basically was the speaker we had there were promoting tourism and their lodging tax and tourism promotion areas, and I strongly recommended to their economic development gentleman, Rob Allen, who's the senior economic development specialist for the city, to get in touch with Doug Lean of our department here, our economic development department, and our Lorraine Shakir, I believe that's the way to pronounce her name, who is the coordinator for our lodging and tourism area. So for information that how they can improve and perhaps learn from some of the things that we've done, the best practices. And maybe we can learn a few things from them as well. The second meeting I attended was today at Green River College, which is a celebration. It's the 10th year anniversary of the challenge coin ceremony that they've had for our veterans. And this involves not only just the veterans out there, but also the veterans who are students at the college as well. And that also includes some of the instructors at the college. And it was a very well attended lunch that we had over there. And the challenge coin has a rich history beginning back in World War I. While some veterans may not be aware of the significance, Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, the veterans certainly do. The coin signifies pride, honor, achievement, unity, and esprit de corps, and its significance also represents the experience of one who has served in the military. And it was quite a group of veterans that we had there, and they all received their coins and their 10-year pin. And that's all I have. Mr. City Attorney, do we have a need for an executive session?
No, we do not, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you.